usual, I'm going to stick to the facts. When I make a video at this time, it usually distorts my features because of the shadows, but you have to bear with me. I like to start off by saying I've read about half of this book. I got it today. I want to make this video while it's still fresh in my mind. Beware of controlled opposition. There are people who are chosen because they feel a certain way about things and they're told what they can and cannot say in order to control the opposition. They come off sincere. A lot of them already have a lot of respect for what they do, such as celebrities, rap stars, civil rights activists, and so on and so forth. So I'll start with page 40. I'm only going to read, important parts. I only have about 3 of them. The whole thing is very good, very factual, very on point. There's nothing I found objectionable. I think a lot of people, if you can't read, it says it's made for a 10th grade level. I'd give it more of like a 12th grade level or a senior in high school, because some of the words and some of the descriptions are a little bit more confusing. And usually someone who's a and B student who's a senior in high school will probably not have too much problem reading this book. Most of it isn't that hard to read, but there comes times when they talk about slightly complex scientific matters that touch on physics and what have you. So anyway, in 1966, Alfred M. Ackerman proposed another method to pass audio signals through various media, such as gases, liquids, and solids. While he did not specifically mention the human head in his patient application, I believe the method would allow for audio signals to be passed through the skull, working for it, and so on and so forth. And it talks about modulating the human voice audio signal in an ultrasonic carrier frequency that would be carried across the medium with an acoustic wave. Once the carrier signal passes through the liquid solid medium, it can be demodulated, leaving only the audio signal intact. Thus, the system can be used for communication without the use of traditional radio frequencies. And he has a patent, covert radio communication. Another point in the book, it talks about the Frey effect, how operators of some military installation somewhere said they reported that they could hear, quote unquote, hear the radar, and so this gave them the idea for these ELF weapons and so on and so forth. I'm not going to ruin the book for you, but there's some things that need to be known. Alright. Alright, so there appears to be no increased predilection based upon race, religion, profession, or culture. The only 2 common threads among the reported victims are female gender and a high incident of sexual assault facilitated with date rape drugs such as Rohypnol or GHB. A large number of male victims have also reported being raped after surreptitiously ingesting date rape drugs. Those sexual assaults go largely unprosecuted due to the amnestic effects of the various date rape drugs, as well as the narrow window of opportunity to detect them in the urine of the victim. So I knew, because by the time they did it to me, I had been to the psych ward several times for very superficial reasons. These unscrupulous, unprincipled people, are, rapists. And if you look at stalking statistics, about up to 96% of stalkers don't get prosecuted, and the ones who do, they have about a 56%, or no, 56% of them who get convicted. Excuse me. Up to 96% of them don't get convicted, and of that 4% that get convicted, only about 56% of them face, get jail time. So when people look at this, they're like, well, they have a 96% chance to get away with it, so they try to do it. And they can deal with that with bribery and blackmail, and deal with it if it comes up. As they say, cross that bridge when they come to it. So let me... Alright, so one of the common things they do, and I'm going to tell you why I brought this up in a second. The drug addiction scenario is the most often used in the cases where the mere mention of a drug problem will usually mandate that they undergo drug screening. Illicit drugs are usually placed in the victim's food or drinks that they are known to consume frequently through months of surveillance. Once their appropriate licensing agency is notified of their possible drug problem, the stalkers ensure that they will test positively for the drug that they are accused of abusing. This scenario works with near 100% effectiveness in destroying the career of the victim. The ultimate goal of the stalking and defamation phase is to get the target diagnosed as mentally ill or drug addicted to ensure job loss, where they will be more apt to remain home, where the rest of the operation can be accomplished. Incidentally, the stalking and defamation phases are also the two easiest points in this operation to intervene successfully and bring it to a halt. Unfortunately, most victims, out of fear of suspicion that they are being targeted by a legitimate investigative agency, do not pursue this. Moreover, until recently, most states have had very weak anti-stalking laws that are not easily enforced. So one problem he brings up is there's a lack of strong legislation against unwarranted or non-consensual experimentation. Okay, so it is established, and this guy wrote this, remember, this is not some crazy conspiracy. This is Dr. John Hall. He's a doctor. He's a medical doctor. He's a professional, you know, a PhD. And so I brought up the male rape, the drugs, okay? The drugs, you know, I said that they're covertly drugging me, and my parents have been playing stupid. I have videos of my mom coughing hard and injuring herself. I have videos of, you know, on Facebook right now. I have videos of me coughing and sneezing in many videos on my Robot channel and on Facebook, so on and so forth. You know, even right now, there's sort of a mist in this room. You can't really see it, but you know, I can feel it. It's, you know, and so these drugs could be one of three things, or they could be all three. One, it could be psychiatric medication in some sort of an aerosol or, you know, gas form. Two, it could be the drugs they're describing to help the electromagnetic frequencies, which I kind of think is the least likely. Three, it could be some illicit street drug, methamphetamines, cocaine. So if I ever get in a situation where I'm taken back to the hospital, or, you know, get in a car accident and I'm unconscious, or whatever happens, and for whatever reason they draw my blood, they say, well, he's a drug addict. So then on my record, he has a mental illness, he's a drug addict. Those of you who know me, you know I don't even smoke weed. I love weed. I would love to go back to smoking weed right now. I would love to go back to drinking right now. I'm 1 year sober of smoking marijuana. I haven't drank alcohol since May 6th, 2009. That's right. I am over 6 years sober from alcohol. Do you really think that I do methamphetamine or cocaine? And if I did, would I even talk about this? You know, remember, I've complained about them breaking into my car. They have some way to get in my car. I think the dealer gave them a spare key. Maybe my parents gave them the spare key from when we bought the car. You know, for whatever reason, they have a key to my car, and they can go in without triggering the alarm, or they know how to disable the alarm and to break in. For whatever reason, they know how to, you know, however they do it, they know how to. Period. And so they could plant things on me and pull me over for a superficial reason, you know. And they say, well, I smell drugs, and search the car, and lo and behold, you know, maybe they'll find a weapon, maybe they'll find drugs, okay? I promise you, I do not knowingly do any drug at this point. No marijuana, no abusing prescription drugs, no illicit drugs, no illegal drugs. I don't even drink, okay? And if you really look at my videos, I don't come off as a drug addict. Drug addicts don't talk about mind, body, and soul. They don't do martial arts. They don't have a top martial artist challenge. Okay? And on top of that, I can't afford drugs. You know? Not in the situation I'm in. Can you imagine if I had a cocaine habit that costs like fucking $700? I have student loans. Okay? I live at home and I have student fucking loans. So I don't buy drugs, partially because it would be a great financial burden on myself. And if you notice, I dress pretty nicely. I spend my money on clothes, books on food. I go out every day and buy food, you know. There's some Mexican food from there. Some limes left over from the Mexican food I had the other day. Not today. Here I was preserving the Carl's Jr. bag because I know that they drugged me. But I also know that no one gives a shit. It's been several weeks since I've written some emails to some lawyers and they didn't get back to me. You know. I don't know how to tell you this because there's nothing I can do to prove it, but I don't do any drugs. So if, like the book says, they're covertly drugging me for that purpose, you know, it is what it is. I think if you've been watching my videos for long enough, you know that I care about my mind too much to do drugs, especially hard drugs. You know, when I smoked marijuana, it was a different thing, and when you can really tell the difference between when I stopped smoking marijuana in my videos and when I was smoking marijuana. And when I was smoking marijuana, I'm almost positive they were putting something else in. In fact, I have a video on my Wu-Chan channel where I removed these white flakes, and I thought that they're prescription medication. Now I'm thinking maybe it was some form of, you know, illicit drugs. Maybe it was cocaine or something. I don't know. Maybe it was prescription drugs. I don't know. Okay? I don't do cocaine, meth, heroin, anything like that. You know? And the thought of them putting it, you know, of that being the drugs that they put in my food, you know, you can imagine what it makes me want to do. You know? As a result of all that they've done to me, you know, and I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but if I was to go out to San Francisco and just stab queers all up and down the city until I was caught dead, you know, killed 50 of them, you know, it wouldn't be because I was mentally ill. It would be because of what they did to me. If I was to go to Freemasonic lodges and blow them up and hunt them down and stalk them, find out where they live and kill their families and rape their wives, it wouldn't be because I was mentally ill. It will be because of what they did in retaliation. They have sexually assaulted me. They have drugged me covertly. They have gang stalked me, sabotaged my life. Well, really, it's organized stalking or cause stalking. They have persecuted me for my political beliefs. I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this before my top martial artist challenge in December 20, 2013, almost 2 years ago. I've been saying that before that challenge. I've been saying this consistently for years, and it's been going on for over 6 years, and the last 6 years intensely. According to this book and according to a lot of reports of group stalking, this is something that they follow you to your end of your life. You know, they have to monitor you to your end of your life for the experiment to be complete. They're studying the short-term effects, the long-term effects, and so on and so forth. Okay? I'm being persecuted by unscrupulous scum who rape people, and the government, just like with the Afghanistan case, you know, with the Afghanistan boy rapers, you know, are turning a blind eye. I mean, these people on record, you know, they have several groups that are trying to stick up for people like me, you know, covert, you know, I forgot what they're called, but there's different, you know, they're basically, you know, victims advocacy groups, you know, victims advocates. Okay, you know, and one thing this book I haven't come across yet, it seems to be, you know, I don't know if it's playing stupid with law enforcement. They say that, well, these victims think law enforcement. I know law enforcement is complicit. I know this. Okay? I know this. I know the Santa Clara County Sheriff Department is complicit. Okay? I've seen them off duty harassing me. I've seen them on duty harassing me. I've seen countless TI videos, targeted individual videos, where their local police department are harassing them. The ABC stalking video, the police department was contributing to the noise harassment campaign. I know law enforcement is part of this. I know that I'm right about the groups. And let me just end this by reading you the groups who are involved off my wall. Military intelligence agencies, local law enforcement, government workers, mental health, secret societies, civilian recruits, gangs, organized crime, political groups, social media sites, infiltrating sometimes the staff, stores and businesses, not all universities, and education. Okay, I know this. Greedy lawyers did not want to take up my case, even though there's a ton of money involved if we catch these people drugging my food. What does that tell you? Well, I'm out of time now. Thank you.